Welcome back, everyone, to another SCP reading. Today, we're going to be reading SCP-122, except it's a bit of a special one because we will be reading the old version of SCP-122, and because it was updated a few hours after I recorded the old version, we will also be reading the new version of SCP-122, and we also have some notes from the author of the new version, so without further ado, let's get right in. Item number: SCP-122 Object Class Cuter. Special Containment Procedures. 122 is to be stored in a standard containment chamber containing a single electrical outlet. No personal dormitories are to be constructed within 500 meters of the containment area. At no time should 122 enter an unpowered state. Several redundant power systems are to be maintained and inspected regularly. In the event of 122-1 manifestation, 35 members of site personnel assigned to enact containment are to be deployed outside the containment chamber. If it becomes hostile, Procedure 99 Renmar is to be enacted. Due to the potentially disastrous side effects in the event of cross-contamination, at no point are 122 and instances of SCP-3060 to be stored at the same facility. To enact Procedure 99 Renmar, all subjects are to assume specific positions in and around the containment chamber in order to prevent a containment breach. 2 subjects are to man a portable generator with which the equipment used in Procedure 99 Renmar is powered. 3 subjects are to be equipped with chemical irritants created as a byproduct of SCP-1837, which has been found to have an inhibitory effect on SCP-122-1 instances. After all instances of 122-1 have been reduced to a point where entry is safe, 5 subjects are to enter the containment chamber and use an electrical extension cord from the generator to return 122 to a powered state. These personnel are to be considered irrecoverable after entering 122's containment chamber due to its effect. The remaining personnel are redundant. They will take the place of any incapacitated personnel. Description: 122 is a children's nightlight in the design of a stylized shooting star. When it is in a powered state, 122 lets off between 14 to 20 lux. No manufacturer's mark is present on or within the SCP's components. When in an unpowered state, 122 will affect all subjects within 500 meters radius of its location. When the subjects enter REM sleep, they will move into a comatose state in which they will remain until 122 is resupplied with power. While comatose, humanoid figures appearing to be composed of black, slightly translucent mass will appear from any shadows around the subject. These figures are hereafter known as instances of SCP-122-1. Instances of 122-1 exhibit signs of sapience and sentience, with physical abilities roughly equivalent to the affected subjects. They will attempt to locate as many human subjects as possible and expose them to 122's effects. As more subjects are affected by 122, its radius of effect will expand, with the maximum range seen in testing being over 2.7 kilometers. The 122-1 instances will attempt to gather all sleep aids within the area of effect and apply them to the subjects. These objects have included insomnia medication, traditional medicines known to be used as treatment with insomniacs, pillows, blankets, mattresses, and bed frames, media such as lullabies. When in a powered state, 122 will affect the sleep patterns of all subjects within its radius. If a subject awakens from a state of REM sleep while within 122's radius, they will display signs of insomnia and will complain of unusual dreams. Crossed is, these dreams have been found to cause minor psychological disturbances and all personnel should be given weekly psychological evaluations. And instead it says, see Incident 122-1. And a footnote here. Proposals to determine SCP-2840's effects on these dreams are currently pending approval. Back to the body of the text. 122 was discovered within Linnell Children's Hospital on an unspecified date after several reports of 122-1 manifestations reached locally embedded agents. When the area was investigated, it was found that all subjects within the building had been affected by 122. Recovered documents indicate that a patient brought 122 when being admitted. However, no record of the patient's identity has been found. Agents secured 122 with a portable power source, and it was transported to Site-19. Addendum 122-B. 122 reclassified as Keter following Incident 122-1, moved to Armed Reliquary Containment Area 02. Incident 122-1. On an unspecified date, 11 instances of 122-1 breached containment, causing the death of under 10 members of site personnel and under 100 casualties. Following recontainment operations, 122's containment procedures were put under review. During this review, security footage of several maintenance personnel tampering with 122's chamber lock was discovered. When questioned, the subjects claimed that they had done so under duress, saying that a canary was not allowing them to sleep until they released 122. Affected subjects were given Class A amnestics, and containment procedures were revised. Upgrade to Keter requested. Okay, and that was the old version. Let's check out the new one. Before we begin, though, of note it has a content warning that the article mentions suicide and reader discretion is advised. Now, let's get right into it. Item number: SCP-122, Object Class Thaumiel. Level 1/122, Classified. Special Containment Procedures. Under no circumstances is 122 to enter an unpowered state. At least one redundant failsafe power system is to be installed in order to maintain power to the objects in the event of power outages. Regular maintenance is also to be conducted on 122 at the discretion of the head researcher in order to reduce flickering. A security camera is to be installed within the room that the anomaly is placed so as to regularly monitor the occurrence of flickering within the subject. Due to its utility and importance in assisting the psychological assistance efforts of Site-135, SCP-122 is to be used on a daily basis, with SCP-122-1, currently Anna Taylin, being given normal humanoid accommodations within 122's containment cell at the discretion of the incumbent head researcher. Should the current 122-1 subject become unfit for use with the object, a new 122-1 subject must be procured as soon as is feasible. Description: 122 is a plastic nightlight in the shape of a star, thought to have been manufactured between 1960 and 1980. When in a powered state, 122 has been reported to be able to exude a sense of calmness, comfort, and safety to those within a roughly 20-kilometer radius. As such, it has been known to alleviate symptoms of currently prevailing psychological conditions in subjects. Examples of these psychological conditions include psychological stress, paranoia, phobia, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. However, these alleviating effects are only present when SCP-122 is within the same room as a child under the age of 14 who subscribes to the beliefs of traditional Abrahamic religions. Footnote under beliefs. Children who have shown to score at least 8 out of 10 on the Anglo-Pontiff religious belief scale have been shown to display the best results as SCP-122-1 subjects. Footnote 2. Traditional Abrahamic religions. The reasons for this specification are currently unknown, though a link may be established between this fact and previous descriptions of SCP-122-2 as an angel. See SCP-122 use records. This aforementioned child subject, referred to henceforth as SCP-122-1, is currently the 7-year-old Anna Taylin, who was procured into Foundation custody in 2017. When in 122's containment cell, 122-1 has reported sightings of an angel in her dreams, henceforth referred to as 122-2. Refer to 122 use records for further information regarding 122-2. 122-2 has also been reported as sometimes appearing within the dreams of personnel affected by 122. Footnote here. As of now, only younger personnel aged 20 to 25 have reported having sightings of 122-2. Based on reports, it has been associated with positive feelings such as that of security and relief. And another footnote here. However, sightings of 122-2 within the dreams of personnel do not show the progression of distance and positive feelings reported by 122-1. The reasons for this is unknown. Back to the article. From this, it can be inferred that 122-2 is related in some part to the aforementioned positive effects. Since the beginning of 122's use in supplementing psychological assistant efforts in Site-135, annual personnel turnover rates have been reduced by 90%, with annual personnel suicide rates being reduced by 85%. With Site-135 having recorded the highest instances of either statistic of all sites prior to use of 122, the subject has been integral to the continued operation of the site. Excerpts of 122 use records. SCP-122-1, name, data expunged, age, data expunged, date of use, 2/12/2017. SCP-122-2, activity, data expunged, incident notes, data expunged, positive effects of 122 noted, electronic failsafe systems implemented soon after. SCP-122-1, name, Anna Tylin, age, 2 years old, date of use, 3/01/2017. SCP-122-2 activity, none. Incident notes. No instances of flickering or dimming. 122-1 was noted to be sleeping without incident. SCP-122-1, name, Anna Tylin, age, 3 years old, date of use, 4/28/2018. SCP-122-2, activity description.
God said he'd give me a guardian angel, and he did. Last night, there was a beautiful angel with wings, and he was just standing there, and he was looking at me behind the door. He did that all night.
Instant notes. One instance of dimming. SCP-122-1, name, Anna Tylin, age, 5 years old, date of use, 6/26/2020. SCP-122-2 activity description.
I saw the angel again today. He was at the edge of my bed, and he was looking at me with the widest smile on his face. His wings were...
Stretch his arms out.
This big. I never realized they were that big before.
Incident notes. 2 instances of dimming, 1 instance of flickering. SCP-122-1, name, Anna Tylin, age, 7 years old, date of use, 9/15/2022. SCP-122-2 activity description.
He sat in front of me, just looking at me and watching me sleep. He looked like he wanted to hug me, and I wanted to hug him too.
Incident notes. 4 instances of flickering. However, SCP-122's components have been degraded in the time since its creation, with materials that could be used to replace them no longer being manufactured in the present. This degradation renders 122 vulnerable to fluctuations in its brightness, with flickering and dimming being reported to be the most frequent fluctuations. This causes 122 to assume an unpowered state. When in an unpowered state, 122...
Data redacted.
Warning. The following file is level 4/122 classified. Any attempt to access this file without level 4/122 authorization will be logged and will lead to immediate disciplinary action. Declassified 122 use records updated. SCP-122-1 Name: Jana Martson. Age: 6 years old. Date of use: 2/12/2017. SCP-122-2 Activity Description: Had a blackout. He got her on the first night. Incident Notes: Jana Martson lost. Proposal for new SCP-122-1 subject made. Positive effects of SCP-122 noted. Electronic failsafe systems implemented soon after. SCP-122-1 Name: Anna Tylin. Age: 2 years old. Date of use: 3/01/2017. SCP-122-2 Activity: None. Instant Notes: No instances of flickering or dimming. SCP-122-1 was noted to be sleeping without incident. SCP-122-2 Distance: Undetected. Image of greatest activity. SCP-122-1 Name: Anna Tylin. Age: 3 years old. Date of use: 4/28/2018. SCP-122-2 Activity Description:
God said he'd give me a guardian angel, and he did. Last night, there was a beautiful angel with wings, and he was just standing there. And he was looking at me, beside the door. He did it all night.
Incident Notes: 1 instance of dimming. SCP-122-2 Distance: 6 meters. Image of greatest activity. SCP-122-1 Name: Anna Tylin. Age: 5 years old. Date of use: 6/26/2020. SCP-122-2 Activity Description:
I saw the angel again today. He was at the edge of my bed, and he was looking at me with the widest smile on his face. His wings were
Stretch his arms out.
this big. I never realized they were that big before.
Incident Notes: 2 instances of dimming. 1 instance of flickering. SCP-122-2 Distance: 2 meters. Image of greatest activity. SCP-122-1 Name: Anna Tylin. Age: 7 years old. Date of use: 9/15/2022. SCP-122-2 Activity Description:
He sat in front of me, just looking at me and watching me sleep. He looked like he wanted to hug me, and I wanted to hug him too.
Incident Notes: 4 instances of flickering. SCP-122-2 Distance: 6 centimeters. Image of greatest activity. Emergency Alert: Site-wide blackout detected. Check SCP-122 status ASAP. Last image recovered from SCP-122 containment chamber. It says, "He tells me to pray." Urgent Memo: Recommended action: Initiate immediate procurement of new SCP-122-1 subject within the next 24 hours. Now that is the end of the new SCP-122 reading. Hopefully I did it justice, though attempting to do a child's voice does not often suit me. But next are some of the writer, Acronac's, responses to questions I had. First are answers to questions I had about his headcanon. He believes that an alternate timeline is the best explanation of the new versus old SCP-122 articles. Next, he wants to write more about the Site-135 and the reasons for its terrible psychological conditions. And finally, while he didn't have a specific canon in mind while writing the article, he enjoys thinking it takes place in the universe of "The Foundation is Broke" tale he wrote. And I planned to read that for this video, but severely underestimated its length, and as such I shall be releasing it as a video on Monday and Tuesday, one video for each story that is out right now. Now, some answers to my questions about the process of making it. These ones I'll just be reading his responses for. Firstly, Why was the original 122 article chosen to be reworked? What process did you go through for it? His answer was, alright, so the original 122 was created by Dr. Kondraki, and then rewritten after that by an anonymous writer. A few years ago, I was put up for a rewrite again, but no one really picked it up except for, and I'm going to butcher this name, Luxakio. Incidentally, a year ago, I was also looking to cross a rewrite off my bucket list, and Aiko, who by then was part of the rewrite team, was kind enough to pass the torch of the rewrite and help me out with getting approval. And my next question. Was there anything specific you took influence from when creating the new 122? His response was, this is gonna sound weird, but the wake up I made you breakfast meme. I noticed that what people loved about the original 122 was the shadow monsters, especially the sleep paralysis aspects of those shadow monsters. When I decided to rework the article, I wanted to be able to retain the shadow monsters while updating them for modern rewrite. I wanted to find a picture that showed the shadow monsters in a more humanoid shape while in a bedroom, and that meme came up. The more obvious influence of the Mandela catalog alternates came later, when Anomalous decided to make the images. My next question was there anything you felt like you didn't manage to do, that you wish you did, or anything you did in the drafts that you decided against? His response was, in its current ideation, nothing really, though there was an early concept where I warped the concept of the shadow monsters into a scared ghost child. That didn't really stay true to the original intention of the article, though, so I went back to the drawing board and came up with the more sleep paralysis-like iteration. My next question was, what was it like working with an anomalous writer and Luxico on putting together the images, and why did you choose them to help you with the images? To which his response was, Luxico had already created the nightlight image during the initial rewrite. When she passed the torch to me, she also allowed me to use that image, which most definitely spruced up the initial part of the article. An anomalous writer, meanwhile, was always my go-to image creator since he created the image for SCP-6670 2 years ago. Just like SCP-6670, it was a continuous process of iteration and adjustment, but we got there eventually. And that's the end of the questions that I asked him. Again, thank you very much to Ekronuk, and I severely apologize for all the names I have butchered in this question segment. But yeah, thank you very much for answering the questions. It was a joy being able to get a little sight into what it's like writing these articles and what you had in mind during them. But without further ado, this is where I'm going to end off today. Thank you very much for coming, everyone, and I hope you have a nice time out there. Get yourself something good to eat.